You are not going to believe what Barack Obama is doing now. He has moved Valerie Jarrett, who was born in Iran and who in 1977 at Stanford University said that she is Iranian by birth and her Islamic faith. Her faith guides her and all is going well in the transition of the United States to more Islamic-friendly by using freedom of religion in America against itself. Some of the comments I find coming out on Twitter are very interesting. Isabel Mentos says, "This better be investigated as sedition." Ann Palmer is outraged that this openly attacking of a sitting United States president shows just where Obama is and where his allegiances lie. Barack Obama's close confidante Valerie Jarrett has moved into his new D.C. home, which is now the nerve center for their plan to mastermind the insurgency against President Trump. Obama's goal is to oust Trump from the presidency either by forcing his resignation or through his impeachment, a family friend tells DailyMail.com. Jarrett has moved into the 8,200 square foot, $5.3 million Kaloroma mansion to work closely with the former president and Michelle Obama. Jarrett lived in the White House, dined with the Obamas, and helped shape his domestic and foreign policies. Obama cannot use his West End office, a post-presidency perk, for political purposes. He's coming. And he's ready to roll. Former Attorney General Eric Holder said yesterday about the former president's re-entry into the political scene. By Leon Wagner for DailyMail.com. Barack Obama is turning his new home in the posh Kaloroma section of the nation's capital, just 2 miles away from the White House, into the nerve center of the mounting insurgency against his successor, President Donald J. Trump. Obama's goal, according to a close family friend, is to oust Trump from the presidency either by forcing his resignation or through his impeachment. And Obama is being aided in his political crusade by his longtime consigliere, Valerie Jarrett, who has moved into the 8,200 square foot, $5.3 million Kaloroma mansion with the former president and Michelle Obama, longtime best friends. Jarrett played a vital, if at times low-key role in the Obama presidency. She lived in the White House, dined with the Obamas, and helped shape his domestic and foreign policies. Barack Obama is turning his new home in the posh Kaloroma neighborhood into the nerve center of the mounting insurgency against his successor, President Donald J. Trump, with Valerie Jarrett by his side. Obama is being aided in his political crusade by his longtime consigliere Jarrett, who has moved into the 8,200 square foot, $5.3 million Kaloroma mansion. The former president has set up an office on the west end of the national's capital, where he recently hosted an open house for his White House staff including Joe Biden, Susan Rice, Josh Earnest, and Jarrett. But the office, part of his post-presidency perks, cannot be used for political purposes. The rent on his home is paid by him personally. On Tuesday, former Attorney General Eric Holder revealed that Obama is indeed getting closer to making his public reappearance in politics. "It's coming. He's coming," Holder said, speaking to reporters. "And he's ready to roll." According to the family source, Obama was at first reluctant to assume the role of leader of the opposition. No longer the most powerful man in the world, he was just observing Trump and not liking what he saw, said the source. He was weary and burned out after 8 years in office. But Valerie convinced him that he didn't have any choice if he wanted to save his legacy. And, as usual, he bowed to Valerie's political wisdom and advice. In his only public comment against Trump since leaving the presidency, Obama came out in support of the protests opposing President Donald Trump's executive order to restrict immigration from predominantly Muslim countries. A spokesman said the former president thinks their citizens exercising their constitutional right to assemble, organize, and have their voices heard by their elected officials is exactly what we expect to see when American values are at stake. After Obama left office, Jarrett moved all her White House belonging into the Kaloroma mansion. There was never any doubt that Valerie would have a suite of rooms in the house that the Obamas are renting, said the source. Obama trusts her judgment more than any other person on the planet, as does Michelle. Obama doesn't make a decision without her. Spurred on by Jarrett and Michelle, the ex-president has come to embrace his role as the leader of the opposition against Trump, whose policies he loathes and whose presidency he considers illegitimate. He is going to use his immense popularity with the half of the country that identifies as liberals and progressives, said the Obama family source. Millions of Americans are energized and ready to take to the streets to oppose Trump, but they need to be organized and have their anger focused and directed. Obama is dismayed at the way Trump is tearing down his legacy Obamacare, the social safety net and the welcome mat for refugees he put in place, the source continued. Trump's cabinet picks are also problematic for the former president, especially Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, whom Obama regards as too racially insensitive to be in charge of the Civil Rights Division at Justice. Leaving Jim Comey as FBI director is another thorn in Obama's side. He blames Comey for announcing that he was reopening the FBI investigation into Hillary's emails 11 days before the election, which, in Obama's view, was an irresponsible act that helped elect Trump. He had hoped to write his memoirs, golf to his heart's content, and bask in the glory of his 8 years in power and the progressive achievements he brought about. Instead, he is going to be leading the fight and strategy to topple Trump, says the insider. The Kaloroma house, which the Obamas are renting from Joe Lockhart, who was Bill Clinton's press secretary, is still being refurbished and redecorated by Michelle. Michelle and Valerie have changed their minds many times over about colors, carpets, wallpaper, furnishing and art, said the source. Michelle hired Los Angeles-based interior designer Michelle S. Smith, who designed several rooms in the White House during their residence, to decorate the Kaloroma home. Smith will also decorate the Obamas' new home in Rancho Mirage, California. According to the source, Michelle and Valerie have big plans for traveling and shopping as well as strategizing over Trump. The Obamas and Jarrett have been thick as thieves. Jarrett was living in the White House and dined with the couple. The friend said that Valerie and her signature enormous totes are going to be packed and ready to go for shopping sprees with Michelle from their native Chicago to Paris and the Far East, including Shanghai. They feel like they have had some great trips while in the White House, but we're always working and being herded around, said the source. Now they are planning to travel together home to Chicago, to Paris, and Shanghai, and shop to their heart's content. The Obamas both love the Kaloroma house and are making it their own, continued the source. They have plans to build a pool on the grounds. And they are almost certainly going to wind up buying the house from Lockhart in the next few years. They are also planning to have a house in Hawaii, as well as in Chicago, where the Obama Presidential Library will be built. But Kaloroma, where the Washington action takes place, is going to be home base. Along with this bomber asset holder and other top Democrats out and are focusing on state-level races and the reconfiguration of voting districts through the politically laden process known as gerrymandering, a combined effort to end Trumpism and help their party regain control of Congress and the legislatures across the country. Politico reported that the group seeks to direct resources into winning certain state elections, push ballot initiatives for nonpartisan district drawing commissions and wage legal wars to existing maps. By accomplishing the goals, the group hopes it would put Democrats in a better advantage in the state legislatures and House of Representatives. Obama indicated before leaving the White House last fall that his short-term post-presidency focus will be on General Assembly races redistricting after the 2020 census. Voting districts are redrawn after the federal census to reflect the changes in population and other demographics. Much of the redistricting across the country is done by the political party that is in control of the state legislature. Holder said that the fight will be more difficult with Jeff Sessions running the Justice Department. He added that the decision to throw out a challenge to voter laws in Texas was disheartening. This is probably why we're seeing large attacks on Jeff Sessions yesterday and today. About him supposedly having contact with the Russians. Lou Dobbs retweeted today from Sean Davis, that revelations that Claire McCaskill had communication with the Russians in the past and raises serious questions about whether she can be trusted. This is very true since the Democrats are raising the same questions about Jeff Sessions. Here are some of the things on Claire McCaskill's account that she tweeted herself. First tweet 2 hours ago as of today from Claire McCaskill, and I quote, "I've been on the Armed Services Committee for 10 years. No call or meeting with Russian ambassador. Ever. Ambassadors call members of the Foreign Relations Committee." Next tweet listed January 30th, 2013 from Claire McCaskill. "Off to a meeting with the Russian ambassador. Upset about the arbitrary and cruel decision to end all U.S. adoptions, even those in process." Claire McCaskill tweeted on August 6, 2015. "Today calls with the British, Russian and German ambassadors. Iran deal #doing my homework. Hey Claire, you're not being able to keep your stories any straighter now that you're a senator than you could when you are Jackson County prosecutor. Then 2 hosts here in Kansas City on 980 wouldn't even talk to you anymore because you can't say anything that was truthful. Also Claire, you are coming up for re-election in 2018. And all these copies of these tweets and these stories on YouTube are all going to be out there and people are going to start bringing them back up. Well, if you like this story, please hit like and or subscribe to this channel.